Hello there and welcome to what I would say is probably an impromptu little reading vlog, a little bit of a review of a book I received. I pre-ordered from Waterstones, and that is We Burn So Bright by TJ Klune, who's a #1 or is a Sunday Times bestseller. And in front of it we've got Where Will the End of the World Take You? Now I've had a look on Goodreads because I was putting it down as a current read because I was going to start reading it, and somebody had commented and said that this is not a normal TJ Klune's book. It isn't a cosy little book. It's not like we normally have, which I knew going in because I'd read the synopsis when I got it. And it says on the back, is it enough to burn bright if nothing comes from the ashes? So, and also we've got a few, I would say spoilers, some prompts. What am I thinking of? What's the word? Triggers. That's the word I'm thinking of. So those of you who's probably read TJ Klune before, we've got, you know, the Cerulean Sea, the House on the Cerulean Sea, and then the follow-up Somewhere Beyond the Sea. We've also got the Green Creek books, which was sort of Wolfgang, Raving Song, Heart Song, I'm reading them off the back of here, Brother Song. So we've got quite a few. We've got some, usually I do enjoy his writing, and so I think this will be interesting. It is a short book. I believe it's about 163 pages, 169 pages. So it's a quick book, but it's something different, I think. We've got a short book. So what we've got it saying is, after 40 years together, husbands Don and Ronnie are out of time. A rogue black hole is coming to the earth. In a month, everything and everyone they've ever known will be gone. Suddenly they're on a race against the clock to make it from Maine to Washington State and take care of some unfinished business before the end of the world. On the road, they will meet those who refuse to believe that death is coming, those who are in a rush to meet it, but there are also people living their final days as best they know how. Impromptu weddings, shared meals, new friends. And as the black hole draws near, among ball, lightning, and under the crack moon, in a kaleidoscope sky, Don and Rodney will look back on their lives and ask if their best was enough. And then it says at the bottom, a heartfelt queer road trip novel. Now, like I've mentioned there at the beginning, there is a little bit of it. Well, he's put it down as the author's notes. I'm just going to take the dust cover off it, otherwise it ends up getting ruined, doesn't it? So we've got here author's notes. This story explores love and grief at the end of the world. They are the discussions of death in different forms, including death by suicide. Please read with care. So I'm just thought, I was just going to sit down and read it, then I was going to mention it when I finished the book. But I thought I would just read those trigger warnings really to you, just in case these do trigger you, if you'd find it uncomfortable, and also if you were thinking about buying the book before you go in, to know that this isn't a cozy book. So I am going to sit and read this. Hopefully it won't take me too long. I don't know if you can tell from my voice, I've actually hopefully, fingers crossed, coming to an end of a cold, and as always, it always seems to go to my voice and my chest. So I'm going to give this a go. I will get back to you. I will tell you what I think of it. As I say, I'm expecting, I'm not saying some tears because it's not very often I cry in a book, but I feel that it is going to be hit the heart. It's going to be sad in places. Like we say, it's not just going to be a cozy read. I'm okay with sort of them sort of triggers, but if you're not, please consider them before you decide to read the book, because as I say, I do feel it's a little bit out of TJ Klune's normal comfort zone and genre that he normally writes. So I will get back to you. So already, I'm not saying it's the book's got me gripped. I mean literally just read page 2, and like I say, I do like TJ Klune's writing. So, but we've got, what I've liked about the beginning is we've got these older gentlemen, older protagonists, 2 gentlemen who've been together, as I said in the synopsis, that it was going to be, they've been together for 40 years, but they're talking about, I believe one of them is, one of them's called Rodney, and I think he's 78. And they're talking about the ailments. They're talking, as in when we talk about the ailments, we're talking about when you get up or your knees crack, and they seem almost settled in the fact that they know, I wouldn't say how they're going to die, because it's talking about, you know, you never know, I suppose, when your time's going to come. You never know how it's going to happen. Are you going to have a heart attack? Are you going to get a disease of some point? This, you know, one of the ones they mention is, are you going to, one of your blood vessels going to burst, and you just, you know, you're going to, so to know that how it's happening. And then we're just going, but they're sort of, I'm not saying giving in to the fact, but they're kind of thinking, well, there's nothing we can do, let's try and make the best we can of the time we've got left. And you know, and I find that quite interesting. I do like the fact we've got older protagonists as well, and that we're now literally talking about how the world, apparently the world's known that this black hole was coming. It was known for about a year, I think it says, but how there's now chaos, or there's been chaos. You know, you've got military vehicles on the streets, you've got looting and rioting, and this happened probably when it was first found out that this black hole was coming. And like I say, I think it said in the description that it's going to happen in within the month, give or take. But it's also saying, you know, that says they knew about the black hole for close to a year. In the early days, more things were aflame than not. When backed into a corner, an animal could be dangerous. Humans are animals, and deadly ones at that. Over the last year, they've proven themselves as such. In an Amazonian, a group of people have doused themselves in gasoline. And a horrified crowd looked on. It's just, and why I mention that is because in these times, what do people do? What would you panic? Would you think, hey, this could be wrong, as in they've got it wrong, there isn't a black hole? Or would you think, do you know, I'm going to go on my own terms. I am, you know, for example, like we say, these people who've thought, I mean, that must have, I know it's fiction, but you know, to think, instead of sitting waiting, or I'm just going to kill myself, I'm just going to, you know, it's just people in panic. And I think in society, if you have, like we say, riots or whatever, you always have the looting, and you know, I suppose trying to keep control of civilization, I guess. It's just, it is, what would you do if you knew that you only had a month to live? And it doesn't have to be as dramatic as this is talking about, where it's this black hole. It could be, you know, I think some of the bravest people in the world are, you know, people that get these horrific diagnoses, and they, you know, the doctors or whatever give them an estimated time and what they choose to do with that time. And hopefully, you know, you would hope it would be to try and spend as much time with family and friends, and, you know, isn't it? It's a. I would hope it would bring you together. Anyhow, I'm getting it going a little bit deep here, but yeah. So it is this kind of, what do you do if you know the world's gonna end? Anyhow, I'm twittering, and I don't want this to be too long, but I just found it really. I was going to say interesting at the beginning, but that kind of, that we've got the older protagonist. We know it's coming. We know that it's apparently, they've known for the year, and how this is going to, people are going to react, what people are going to do, which, so we'll see. So I will get back to you. I will catch up a little bit later, not as quick as this one. As I say, I've literally read a couple of pages, but I was impressed with it so far. And like I say, I do like the writing style anyway. So we'll see, and we'll catch up again. I've got myself, I can't think what they are. I will put it on the screen. I say a lemon tea, but it's it's a can of lemon tea. I can't think who it's by. So like a cold, Osmo sparkling, just to keep my vocal cords from totally going, keep myself hydrated. Anyway, speak to you shortly. Right, so I'm a little bit of a catch up. I'm reading this book slowly. This is obviously We Burned So Bright Still, and whoa this isn't a I wouldn't say cozy like TJ Klune's books are normally. I think we've got good representation. We've got the lead protagonists as two men who have been in a relationship for around 40 years, I think it is, and this is their journey. I hope I'm not repeating what I've said before. This is their journey, and it's the people they encounter, but this is just like, it's people they encounter, but their thoughts on what's happening, what sort of the people imagine's going to happen. And I've just read a part, and I was like, I could see it coming. I'm trying to think how to word it. You're in that swimming pool and you start up in the shallow end and you keep walking. You know the water's going to get deeper. You can see the water's getting deeper, but you still walk. That's just a sort of analogy of what I'm thinking. So basically, I'm reading this, and I'm trying not to give you any spoilers, but I could see it coming. I could see that storm coming of what happened, and I literally just went, whoa. Do you know, this is, it's talked about, I wasn't say the journey of the black hole, in the way that we still have news, so the way that the planets are disappearing into this black hole. We've got various characters. We have people, I was going to say, they encounter, well, they use it, I suppose, in the here it's a bit like hippie people who are laid back, but are wanting, they know what's going to happen, they know what's coming, they know that life isn't going to go on, but they just want to live the life and be happy for what the time they've got left. And then you've got people who, I was going to say, hippie people who are laid back, but are wanting, they know what's going to happen, they know what, the life isn't going to go on, but they just want to live the life and be happy for what the time they've got left. And then you've got people who, I was going to say, openly voiced that they want to end it all. And I suppose, like we say, it begs the question, what would you do? Would you believe it? Would you, if we got on the news that there was a black hole coming? I don't know. I don't know what the time span. Probably by the end of it, I will know what the time span is. But and they said, I don't know, in a month's time, there's a black hole coming, and that's it. Civilization is just, that's it. You know, it's just. But then there's talk of one of the guys in it is talking about eating an apple, because obviously food is getting scarce, and apples happen to be one of his favourite fruits. And then he reflects and thinks, this could be the last apple I'll ever eat. And it's, so you've got some reflection, you've got some people who are absolutely terrified, we've got the, as I've just read, whoa moment. I just find it, I was going to say so interesting, and I think so well written, because I don't know, it's worth reading. Like I say, it's only about 168 pages, but it is a good read. It is a good read. Yes, so I'm gonna go again. Like I say, I'm not rushing reading it, but I will be back. But I read that bit and I was like, oh my gosh. Anyhow, right, so I will be back with any further thoughts or what I think of it at the end. Okay, final thoughts on We Burn So Bright, Where Will the End of the World Take You, by T.J. Klune. As much as I wouldn't say I enjoyed this book, I thought it's a good book. I would recommend it. I think people should read it. As we've said previously, there is some trigger warnings, so please do Google them if you want to know, because this is not T.J. Klune's normal kind of book. I think ultimately, I think on Storygraph I gave it 4.75 because it just fell short of being a 5-star. But to say that there was nothing obviously wrong with it, for me, it was just, it wasn't, I wouldn't say a perfect read. It took me a wee while to read it, but that wasn't the book's fault. I happened at the moment, I don't know if I need to get my eyes tested or I've been dehydrated or whatever, but I've been getting headaches behind my eyes, so I feel that I wasn't maybe picking up my books as much as I should do. So this is about, I wouldn't say, well, as previously mentioned, about the end of the world, and I thought it had very diverse characters in, and using the words that T.J. Klune uses, he wanted to write a book with good representation of queer characters. So you have Rodney and his name slipped my mind suddenly, Rodney and, oh come on, Don. I was thinking, was it Don? Anyway, so we've got Rodney and Don. They're making a trip. They have a purpose for this trip. There's something they want to achieve. Some closure. So it's through their eyes, and it's people, like we say, they meet along the way. And it's, you've got, I mean, how would you react? What would you want to, so it's how people are affected by the thought that the end of the world's coming, and that what would you do? It's about, I think it was about love and friendship and helping others and relationships and families. It talks a little bit about, I was going to say, as this black hole's approaching, so maybe the destruction of planets and what people think it's going to be like when the end comes, as in how, I wasn't say how they're going to die, but you know, is it going to be painful? Is it going to? I would recommend it, especially if you're a fan of his books. It's also got, like I say, I think it's got a good. I find it hard sometimes to review books because it's given that, trying to give a review but not spoiling it. Like I say, I think we had a mixture of characters and relationships, and I think it was written well. I think it was thought-provoking. I mean, I think his editor was, it was a comment, I think, on something in a previous book, but basically it said the chances of a black hole are 1 trillion to 1, do you know, and this was thought-provoking, and Lee, amongst other things, led him to write this book. It's, I wasn't say discovering yourself. I would recommend it. It's only a short book. It's only, I think it's at 260 3 pages. Like I say, it took me a little bit longer because of having a bit of a headache. It's a book I'll keep, and those of you who are often on my channel will know I don't often keep books. I think I would reread it. I think I would get more out of it with a second or certainly further reads. So yes, I would. Yeah, it's a book I would recommend you read, but like I say, don't go into it thinking it's TJ Klune's normal type of book, but it's obviously his writing, and if you like his writing, and like I say, very, I think, thought-provoking and open to discussions and things like that. So yes, if you have got to the end of this video, thank you very much for getting to the end of it for a start. Give me a moon emoji just to show that you got to the end. Comment down below, have you read it? Are you a fan of TJ Klune's writing? If so, what's your favourite book? If you don't already subscribe to my channel, please do consider doing so. I really do appreciate that. Give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Press that notification bell. You know the rigmarole. And all I'll say is take care of yourself, and I'll see you again in the library. Bye.